Before anything else, preparation is the key to success. Alexander Graham Bell, all these great men of the past, I read you their quotes every day, great men and women. And what do they tell us over and over again? They tell us to think smart, think accurately, practice, prepare, be ready. And for us, before anything else, preparation. What is our preparation? The key to success in what we do. It's 10 to 15 minutes each and every day. Practice trading. When you think you're getting good, you start doing the fractional shares. That is just a small dollar amount, maybe $100, depending on what the shares cost. Like here you see, at the end of the day, the S&P 500, $436.17 just for one share. However, of course, if you have one of the online brokers that allows you to do fractional shares, you just do $100. And again, you've also got like with 20-year bonds, look at that. That's $103. Gold is getting a little expensive, GLD, it's $177. And of course, Bitcoin, when Bitcoin allows us to start trading it, although I know some of you have been practice trading it with this latest turnaround, it's doing okay, $30.43. Now again, I want to encourage you, once you get good at the paper trading, that's when you consider fractional shares, small dollar amounts, keep yourself honest. If you lose 20% of $100, it's $20. You start losing 100% of $10,000 and you won't be doing this very long. So don't be an idiot. Practice trade to show yourself approved. That is what our preparation is. Let's jump into these charts. Remember, we're not a stock calling service. We're an education firm. We see the stocks up for the day along with Bitcoin, bonds, and gold down. What do we see going on with the S&P 500? We see where it peaked with this higher than average volume and a nice upshot on price. We haven't reached that over the last, going into this second week. See, volume fell off. So did the candle. This week, even a smaller candle. We have this red volume, which again tells us that we were lower than the close to start the week. We went over that yesterday as to how we have our volume indicator set up. And we can see where things were up for the day, 1.10%. So what we see happening, of course, is things still edging down, sitting right there on the weekly. This is the 2-day time frame. We can see that we've got a doji sitting right there on this first day of the latest 2-day candle, right there on the weekly trend line. We can see where we had gone just below it yesterday afternoon on Monday, and then, of course, popping up during the day, particularly in the afternoon on Tuesday. So we'll keep an eye on things and see if by the end of the week this is rolling over. Hasn't happened yet. We look at the NASDAQ 100, about the same kind of thing, peaked with higher than average volume. That's a lot of times what you'll see on a peak with a bigger candle than what we've had now going into this second week, sitting right there with the doji, very similar to the S&P, right there on the weekly trend line, just pushing up through it on the half day. This week may tell us whether we're going to keep going up. And remember, we had this happen before, had things move up, and then we saw them slide sideways, and look at that volume there, right there, a little bit right on the average volume, even that next week on the average volume. Then things took off again. So we will pay attention and watch and learn. Let's move on to 20-year bonds, pulling back a little bit for the day, 0.26. Saw that happen at the end of the day, although it was ranging in the morning. And of course, we've got a small candle, but we are pushing up higher so far. Oh, well, see again, see these dashes? It fooled me. You got to be careful with those dashes. Let's see what the high was so far this week. 103.95 last week, 103.95. So we're hitting the same thing. We'll see where bonds are going to go. So again, we're green on bonds. We're up on bonds, going long. We just want to see if that's going to continue. It's a little squirrely. What about gold? Gold down for the day, 0.46%. Like to see it. The low last week was 177.63. This week, The low is 177.43, so a little bit lower, going in the right direction. We don't have a good inverse fund for gold, as we've said over and over. There is GPZ, but DGZ, sorry, Delta Golf Zulu. We don't like it because it's not liquid, which means you got to make up a lot in profit just to match the difference between the bid and the ask. We don't like that. Best thing to practice on gold is options. And if you want what we think is the best options training on the market today, you can get it by becoming a Patreon member at any of the 3 levels at chartingwealth.com. Think about that. And we appreciate our Patreon members so much. We can see on the weekly trend line, we are below it on the weekly and of course we're below it on the weekly, on the 2-day and the half-day. And what I might do is update this a little bit. Let's see here. No. We're going to update it just so we get closer to this drop. So when it's violated, we can pull ourselves out earlier if it does violate it, so we can keep more profit. Okay, that is where we are on gold. Lastly, we go to Bitcoin, up 1.13% for the day. We see the high last week of $31.22 so far this week, $30.82, not too far off, but again, not hitting that high of last week yet. We can see on Friday, where right here, where in the morning things peaked up to that high last week. It happened Friday morning, so just a few days ago. And this latest 2-day candle, just again, the first day of the 2-day candle, we can see prices well above, decently above the 2-day, and well above on the half-day. This is, of course, always the weekly trend line that we use because we're trading off the weekly trend line. People say, yeah, but what about these shorter-term trades? You can have them. I want the big money on my practice trades from the big chart. I don't want pennies. I want dollars or tens of dollars or hundreds of dollars on my practice trades. I don't want to deal with basically anomalies in the market you're trying to hop on before everybody else. I want to trade with trend. The trend is your friend, of course, until the end. That is where we are today. So appreciate you being with us. Love your comments on YouTube. And of course, you can always write to us, cw@chartingwealth.com. Thank you, my friends. We appreciate, in particular, all those loyal, kind folks that are with us every day. We love to hear from you. God bless. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.